So welcome once again to everybody. Great to see you all with us. Lots of familiar names, and as always, we have a few that I just don't recognize, which I love. So welcome to all of you guys. Very, very nice to have you all with us. Thanks for spending a few minutes on your Monday afternoon, or Tuesday morning, depending on what hemisphere you're in. Anyways, nice to see everyone. I always like to remind everybody at the beginning of the week, this is a good time to get a free trial to the trade group because you get the whole week to see how we do, what we do, and so on. So remember, if you go to daytradersfx.com and click on Start Now, you can do a couple of things. Number one, you can get some information on annual memberships, which save you a good little chunk of cash. Or number two, you can get a free trial to a $37 a month membership or the $79 a month membership, and these are what is included there. So anyway, we'd love to have you with us. I'd love to have you guys join. Anybody that's not currently a member of the group, we'd love to have you join us for the week and have a little free trial and see what you think about what we're trading and how we're trading and so on and so on. So anyway, that's that. Okay, we've had quite an interesting couple of weeks and some good things are happening and so on. As far as news and everything goes this week, so we've already seen a bit of stuff from monetary policy minutes are coming up from Australia. We've seen a little bit of Draghi already this morning. We've got some Bank of Japan news coming out later today, so watch those yen pairs. Should be a pretty active one this evening coming up. Going into Tuesday, we have some CPI for the UK. We have some German ZU. And Carney is speaking again. Be just prepared to death for that. Retail sales for the U.S., always a good mover. Yellen is speaking. I mean, it just goes on and on. We just have stuff after stuff. CPI for New Zealand, which we have some New Zealand interest going on there. Wednesday, employment numbers for the U.K. We have interest rate announcements for Canada. I mean, it just keeps trucking right along here. And then Thursday, we have just all U.S. news on Thursday, and it's all in the morning, and nothing's too terribly crazy. And then Friday, a little bit of U.S. and Canadian news there. So it's a pretty active week as far as news goes. We should see some pretty good movement coming out of all of that. And I'm just going to post this link one more time real quick before we exit out of this. And that is for anybody that wants a free trial to the trade group. Okay, usually I start on the euro dollar, and I will start on the euro dollar saying I have nothing to say about the euro dollar. I literally can't even, I couldn't guess a trade out of there if I had to, so we're staying away from the euro dollar. Pound dollar is looking pretty decent. Remember, we have an order for the pound dollar. We've kind of got a double situation going on here. We've added another trade at 171.40, 171.50 areas. So we're short pound dollar, and that's obviously working out pretty well. So that filled us back here in some of these little spikes going into the end of the week. And everything is now nicely below 171, 171.00, so that's pretty good. So the pound dollar is looking good. It's pretty safe to say that we can move our stops into break even / 1 or 2 pips profit on this pound dollar. It's a nice little trade. Everything's running along nicely here. Remember, our 4-hour chart is still screaming, come on back. So 4-hour chart's 140 bars out and coming down. The daily chart is really only just getting started. So there's a lot of room to wiggle here. For anybody that's not in this trade, for those of you that aren't in the group and haven't been following all of this too terribly closely, there's going to probably be another opportunity to enter this pound dollar. And that's going to be with a more pronounced double top or even a break of that high. If we break that high without touching this 200 moving average, then this turns into a ridiculously fantastic short. But it's already, obviously there's already a lot of profit taking and selling off going on. If Carney speaks, when Carney speaks, if for any reason he makes the pound spike up higher, that's just gonna amplify the need that we have to short the pound dollar more, and we will do that. We'll do that like crazy. We'll just keep shorting this thing. So we've locked in profit on this. We're up a good little chunk of pips. If it stops us out at break even, we now have no risk on this second position here. If it stops us out, then we'll just be looking for more opportunities to get in. So we're short pound dollar, and for anybody that's just just barely getting a look at what we're doing, there will possibly be some opportunities to get in short again if this runs back up again. So that would be pretty excellent if it does, and give us just one more stab at it. But it looks like it's definitely kind of running out of steam. One thing that I tend to see quite a bit is kind of pairs of three. This has no anything related to it. It's just one reason that I think we might see one more stab higher on the pound dollar, and that is that is this one run here, consolidation, second run, consolidation, retracement, and we might just make that, one more spike, one more opportunity to try to get up above that before this thing really makes a nice big run down into 16900 at least. So we have a great little setup on pound dollar. For anybody that's not in it yet, don't try to jump in it now. Look for some retracements. Look for this to get back up above 170-100 before any entries. And I'll have some very specific entries posted for all of the group members as the week progresses along. But especially if it breaks that high, 170-180, if it moves 100 pips up in the next couple of days, we will short the heck out of this thing again and just kill it, and it'll be great. So I'm very bearish pound dollar, but I'm very not of the opinion that you should try to jump in it right now and trade it down because it's getting a little choppy, and you got to have a good entry, and we have a good entry there. That 171.40.50 area that we got into at the end of last week was a great area, and it's just kind of all sideways holding out and should give us a nice little run there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, and that's a good point, Kevin. Yeah, reaching some 5-year highs and so on. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're looking for on pound dollar. Aussie dollar, the only thing I have to say about the Aussie dollar is that it is it's consolidating into a rising wedge, and from there it might give us a breakout, it might not. It's just barely on my radar. And so, so it's just kind of barely there. So I don't anticipate a trade in the next day or two or three, but towards the end of the week we might have something to trade there. Dollar CAD is looking pretty good. We have a trade that's just all over the place on this dollar CAD, and there's going to be some great things to do, and I will speak more in relation to what our trade is and how it's working during our live session tomorrow morning. But for everyone that is just kind of generally looking at the dollar CAD, expect some retracement. Expect some retracement here, and we're just going to kind of play this one by ear. We've got a little bit of interest in this trade because we're in it, but it needs to do a couple of things before we ultimately decide what the next kind of course of action is going to be. But it looks like we might get a bit of an ugly bull flag here on this 1 hour chart, and that could give us some nice opportunities to continue riding the dollar CAD up. So I think it's a good time to see a little bit of dollar bullishness coming up here. So we're going to keep an eye on all of that. Okay, so we're, as we mentioned earlier, we've got some New Zealand news coming out, and we've got some New Zealand trades that are pretty interesting, and the Aussie New Zealand is definitely one of them. Aussie New Zealand is hitting some of these lows, and Steve, yeah, if the dollar CAD retraces, there could be some good entry opportunity, and that's, the dollar CAD's kind of in an interesting area where I'm going to have to probably update everybody as we go this week and kind of play that one by ear. So I don't know what level I would be super interested in just yet. So Aussie New Zealand is finding some pretty good support down here at this little 2 to 3 month low right here, which is around the 106 50, 10600 kind of area. We're finding some pretty good stuff in there. The thing that I'm liking about the Aussie New Zealand is this 1 hour chart. Remember, our 1 hour chart has stretched a whole good bit, and we're about 200 bars. We're 201 bars out on the 1 hour chart. So this is pretty fantastic. We've got a missed weekly pivot, as you can see, up here from last week, and that's up right at 107, about 107.40. So we've got almost 100 pips from where it is, and we should be able to get 100 pips. If this Aussie New Zealand dips down just a little bit more, if I get this down below 106.50, which is not very far away. Obviously, we're at 106.63. Below 106.50, I'm going to start looking for opportunities to get long Aussie New Zealand. So right now we're about we're only 40 pips off that low, and so if this can dip down there, you know, in the 106.40 area, get us kind of 20-30 pips off that low, I'm going to start looking for opportunities to buy. We may end up taking an entry on a double bottom. So this is not a pending order yet. This is just kind of remember, this is kind of what we're looking at going into the week here. And so a double bottom on Aussie New Zealand, or even better, a break of this low, which once again is only 30, just shy of 40 pips away. If we break that low, then we're absolutely looking for buying opportunities on Aussie New Zealand. So this one is we need it to stay below the weekly high. If it stays below the weekly high, then we're in good shape. If it breaks that weekly high like in the next 12 or 24 hours, then it's probably a no-go trade. We need it to drop a little bit before it gets interesting enough to start getting some entries. But I think we can get that. Again, we've got some nice missed pivots and some good things going on there. So the Aussie New Zealand should be a great opportunity once it gets a little bit down into the lower 106 hundreds area, you know, 106.20, 10600 even, starts making this a very, very attractive buying opportunity. So we're going to be watching that this week. I like, we've been talking about the euro pound a lot, and how we were being a little bit careful and a little bit timid with having too many pound pairs. And the system is just working gloriously well. The euro pound has run up and it's making a nice little stab at that 4-hour 200 moving average. Now remember, this the 4-hour 200 moving average, the market is now almost it's 295 bars out since the last time it touched that 200 moving average. So what I'm pretty confident and comfortable with doing right now is you can see that we are about 55 pips off that low. 55 pips is all, so it's not a huge amount. If the euro pound could drop down a little bit, it made this nice little spike. Pound pairs moved a little bit over the last several, kind of going into the open of the market. If the euro pound retraces a bit and gets us down, same kind of situation, down below 79.50, then I'm going to be looking to get long euro pound with some fairly tight stops, somewhere down below 7,900. But euro pound looks absolutely glorious. It's just set up perfectly, and we missed kind of the first entry, the first best entry. Those are always tricky because because you're really buying into a hugely bearish market, and those are always a little bit scary. But the best part is we usually get a pretty fantastic second opportunity. And I think we're going to be able to get that on euro pound. Remember, our daily chart looks fantastic. We have all kinds of missed weekly, daily, monthly pivots. We got Fibonacci levels that are all going to be fantastic. So as long as we can get a good enough entry, we will be long euro pound this week. So we're just kind of waiting for that. But again, I'd like to get this back down below 79.50 before I start buying into euro pound. But it's a great little setup. Everything's looking good there, and so down below that we should have a nice little setup. And keeping our theme with pound pairs, we've got our pound Swiss franc, which is this thing has just been running forever. We're same thing as euro pound on the 4-hour chart, 295 bars out. And this thing just has gone crazy. You can see it a little bit better on this daily chart. We've got a nice rising wedge, and it's starting to break that rising wedge. We're a pretty good distance out on the daily chart, and I think we're going to have a nice opportunity there. And the 4-hour chart's coming in nicely there. So right now we are 125 pips off that high. I would like to get a little bit closer to that high before shorting. So we need to see the pound Swiss franc move up a little bit before we start shorting this thing and looking for opportunities to really sell these rallies. So we do want to sell the rallies. We just need to get it up there a little tiny bit higher before we start jumping in heavy on those shorts. with pound Swiss franc. But again, if that one can make, as long as it doesn't break this low too terribly soon, which it could, that's 25 pips away. If it stays above that weekly low and moves up just a little bit, then we are so in the money for a fantastic pound Swiss franc trade. So pound Swiss franc is looking awesome to get short as the week goes on. We already have, you can see, so we talked about our pound dollar second position that we added, which was our second short, which is at 171.40.50. And then we have the New Zealand dollar, which was 88.25. Some tight little stops and hopefully a pretty decent little profit target. And we can probably get more out of that than we're even looking for. But 88.25 was a nice little level. It filled us, spiked up here. We had a high of about 88.32. I don't even remember which day we got filled, one of these 2 days, but I think this day was the one that really gave us that nice entry. So 88.25 filled on New Zealand dollar, and it's hopping around a little bit. Same thing, look for opportunities to get short below 88.40. If it breaks 88.40, again, so much depends on weekly highs and lows. Remember, we're only 1.5 days into the trading week. As long as current highs and lows hold and the market moves, all of these pairs we've talked about, as long as the market moves away from those weekly highs and lows, which are all 20, 15, and 20 pips away. The New Zealand dollar is like 18 pips away from the weekly low right now. As long as it keeps moving up away from that, we should have a nice opportunity to add even another short here. And for anybody that's not in the New Zealand dollar, it's a really good little setup. Everything's looking pretty excellent. The 4-hour chart looks really, really good. We're 140 bars out on that 4-hour chart. Nice little rising wedge that seems to be breaking, and we'll see if it holds. So this could run back up into the 88.20.30 area. Which is great to get in. Our entry, I like our entry. I think it's a great little entry, and we're going to hold on to that one. Remember, we have some pretty extensive highs up at the 88.40. So if we start breaking beyond that without touching 1 and 4 hour moving averages, then this trade will crumble and fall and head right back on down, and it's going to be a great setup. So we're already in the New Zealand dollar, but if you're not in it and you're looking to get in it, look for it to move up a little bit higher. Look for the 88.20s and keep a stop above about 88.50. Risk about 30 pips if you get stopped out. Just be calm and be cool and collected, as they say, and wait for that next best opportunity to short the New Zealand dollar. Maybe up even at 88.50, 8900 area. From there, we should have some fantastic opportunities to really short the heck out of this thing. So, loving that New Zealand dollar. So you can see I'm looking for New Zealand dollar weakness. We're looking to buy the Aussie New Zealand. We're looking to short the New Zealand dollar. So we're looking for weakness to come on New Zealand dollar, and I think we're going to have a pretty good opportunity with that. Euro New Zealand is also looking fantastic. This 4-hour chart is just what we call textbook fantastic glorious. We have a nice little falling wedge right here that is just looking so good. It's just running, this Euro New Zealand, and we're a good little bit out. We're 160 bars out on the 4-hour chart. So Euro New Zealand should be a very, very nice trade and a great opportunity to ride this up to some of these missed pivot points and some of these bigger upper areas. I think we should be able to get a pretty easy 200 to 300 pips out of the Euro New Zealand. So yeah, Kevin, that's true. The New Zealand dollar itself is at all-time highs on a bunch of pairs. It's at all-time strengths against Australia, against the US dollar. It's pretty extended against the euro. So we're looking to really find some New Zealand dollar weakness and take advantage of that going into the week. So remember, our focus is on watching this pound dollar. If it stops us out at that break even and gives us an entry higher, even better. We'll talk more about the dollar CAD as we go. Aussie New Zealand, we're looking for just a little bit of a dip before we start buying that. We want to see this get down below 106.50, which is not far away at all. Euro pound, we want to get this below 79.50, not super far away at all, and then we're going to be buying that dip. Pound Swiss franc, we want to see this get up there just a little bit, hold this low and get up hopefully into like the 15300 area, and then we can start looking for opportunities to sell this pair. New Zealand dollar, we're looking to sell in the 88.20s with pretty tight stops in the 88.50s, and profit targets of about 87.50. So we should be able to clear a minimum of 100 pips on this trade. It's looking like a good one. And same thing with Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand's looking great. We want to see a little bit of retracement. We want to see that weekly high hold and get this back down into these lows. And remember, Euro New Zealand's only 47 pips off those lows, so 20 or so pips of retracement, and we should get a nice opportunity to enter Euro New Zealand. So those are all of my favorite trades and favorite setups right now. There's a couple others in here that I just am not ready to trade yet. So all of my attention is really focused on pound and New Zealand pairs, and kind of dealing with and managing those. So and getting some nice entries on those ones. So pound everything, New Zealand everything is looking like the focus of our week, and we should be able to get some really nice trading opportunities from that. So I look forward to it. Remember, get a free trial and come see how we trade this week. We'd love to have you, and hopefully you can come make a couple of bucks with us this week on us, and enjoy a little bit of group trading. But we've got some great setups this week, and I'm really looking forward to them, and I will keep you guys all posted on Twitter, and of course those in the live trading group and members of the website. All the details will be super posted for everyone in there. So thanks a bunch, everybody. I'll take a couple of questions and comments real quick, and we'll take it from there.